LeBron James on center stage tonight. James on the drive. James on the answer. And here comes James pulling up from downtown. Kaboom! Clock LeBron driving in. He's got 51. Evan, can he do it again? Yes! 8 for 8 from Kaboom Town. The first 60-point game in Miami Heat history. LeBron's 61 majestic.
That was 12 years ago today. 12 years ago, his career high. So why not dust off a little top of the top? This is top LeBron moments in Miami. Starting with
there you go. I like that.
Right? 6 for 6.
Come on.
From behind the backboard.
That's a ridiculous shot. That's like a horse shot. Nobody makes that.
And yet, here is LeBron. By the way, the Hornets, now they're on the up and up, so they get to be on the other side of some of these highlights. Now, jumping over John Lucas with the alley-oop from D-Wade. Wow. Look out below.
Oh, look how high his head is.
I mean, I just always feel bad for Lucas here.
He didn't even bend his head.
There's a couple more that you might feel bad for who's on the other side. This poster on Paul Millsap.
Oh.
He walked through his chest.
Yep.
And then, how about some passes here? We got the no-look over-the-head dime.
Oh, that's awesome.
That was in 2011.
Eric Dampier?
The best Eric Dampier Heat highlight for sure.
All right, how about number 2? We got a huge poster here on Ben McLemore.
That's pretty good positioning defensively.
Listen,
You know what?
He's outside the circle.
Yeah.
We'll do that every
That
once
just
in
means
a
you're a
while.
hurdle.
All right, at number 1, this is the one ultimately.
Look, Mike
Look
Malone
at young
there.
Michael Malone. 2013 finals. You know where I'm going with this one.
Oh, yeah.
Just denying
Thiago
Thiago's
Splitter
at the rim.
now.
Thiago still asked about this.
Yeah, it's because it's a defining highlight. He just so happened to be on the other side of it. Now, LeBron obviously not done getting buckets, right? And the Lakers tonight, I'm not sure if we're going to get one of those blocks, but we could. They face the Pelicans. LeBron is now just 11 made field goals away from passing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for the most made shots in NBA history. So what could we be in store? Maybe another milestone for LeBron tonight. We're joined now by our senior NBA reporter, Dave McMenamin. He will be in Crypto.com Arena for this one. Dave, LeBron has cornered the market on milestones, but in his 8th season as a Laker, we just ran back some of the top highlights with him with the Miami Heat. What is his defining place in Lakers history here?
I think it's something worthy of discussion, Malika, because we're talking about him potentially passing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in all-time field goals made. That's a cumulative statistic from his 23-year career. But just look at his time as a Laker. He's 2nd in three-pointers, 2nd in triple-doubles, 5th in assists, 8th in defensive rebounds, 10th in points, 4th in assists per game, 4th in points per game, and 2nd in assists per game, just as a Laker. So we're talking about him in the 4th chapter of his career, theoretically his swan song that could be ending after this season. We'll see. And you can stack up his accomplishments as a Laker, and you throw in that Finals MVP, you throw in the championship, among the greats of perhaps the greatest franchise the NBA has. I don't think his legacy with the Lakers is looked at in that light very often, and it's worth at least considering that he's done a lot of work, a lot of good work, the time he's been with the Lakers.
Not to mention contributed championship to this franchise, right? I think because it was in the bubble in a little bit of a different circumstance, maybe that gets looked at through a different prism. But the most recent championship, it's got LeBron's fingerprints all over it for the Los Angeles Lakers. These current Lakers, though, they're in the middle of this stretch where they have 7 of their next 8 games at home. They're trying to put some momentum together here, Dave. And there's a video going around from Saturday's win over the Warriors. It shows this interaction between Luka Doncic and J.J. Redick. A lot of people have questions about it. We're seeing it right here. Can you just describe the relationship between these two?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I checked into this with people around the league and within the team, and I'll just tell you my reporting. A league source said when he saw the video, LA is different. The smallest thing becomes the biggest thing. A source close to Luka told me that him and JJ have a strong, close relationship that dates back nearly a decade, and they're both fiercely competitive, and they push one another. A team source said, find me a star in the NBA that isn't frustrated amidst a 3-game losing streak. And so it's much ado about nothing, but hey, we know the internet likes to have their fun. In this case, if you have been around an NBA basketball team full of people who live for competition, sometimes it gets a little messy when they're trying to go towards a common goal.
Even that reporting, I don't think will stop the keyboard warriors here, Dave. Thank you so very much for your time, for your insight. The Pelicans and the Lakers face off tonight. But then Saturday, we've got the Warriors, the Thunder. It's on ABC. Before the game, you have Ernie, Kenny, Charles, and Shaq tipping off our coverage. It's at 8 o'clock Eastern, and don't worry, they're going to be back after the game to break it all down. Others. They appeared in a New York City courthouse today for their status conference hearings for their involvement in illegal sports betting. Now, they were charged in October of 2025. They both pleaded not guilty in December of last year. And Ramona, you've covered this case now for months, and I think it's important here, right? There are two different charges for Terry Rozier and for Chauncey Billups. Chauncey Billups is scheduled to have his hearing tomorrow. What are those different charges?
So the hearing today is about the gambling case. This is about providing non-public information to sports bettors who then place bets on games. Okay, so this is or taking yourself out of a game that somebody had a bet on. The hearing tomorrow is about the rigged poker games, and that is the one where Chauncey Billups and Damon Jones are alleged to have been quote-unquote face cards as part of the cheating team, where they were using x-ray glasses and they had rigged shuffling machines and Chauncey was obviously a famous player, so the people would like to play alongside of him, and that's what that case is.
Okay, so two different charges, two different cases that we're looking at here. And this morning you had a piece up on ESPN.com where you reported in detail Chauncey Billups' case here. What do we know about the case against the former head coach?
Well, a lot of what's happened between November, the last appearance, and now is that the defense attorneys have now had 3 months to go through all of the evidence and all the discovery in this case. Prosecutors said it was a terabyte of data that they had to go through.
Wow.
And so back in November, any discussion that anybody would have with prosecutors about whether they would cooperate or not cooperate, how they were going to defend their clients, you weren't worth having a discussion at that point because you didn't even know what they had, what the discovery was in this case. So now people have had time to sit with it. There's also 31 defendants in a courtroom. Usually you break up a case into smaller groups. And at that point, it was not appropriate to divide that up. But I think that's what will probably happen over the next couple of days, is that people will try to separate into different groups. They'll try to separate into different jurisdictions. All this right now is in New York, although the games that Chauncey was alleged to have played in were in Las Vegas. And so I think there's going to be a lot of procedural stuff here. The case against Chauncey, though, really comes down to what we're all trying to understand is how did he become involved in this? You know, how, and there's a couple central figures in this, one of which is Damon Jones, who, as we wrote about in the piece, he's a very close friend of Damon Jones. They lived together during COVID for a couple of months at Chauncey's house in Colorado. Damon Jones is named in both of these indictments. Another man is Eric Ernest, who served 12 years in prison on a drug charge. He's the guy who was at the poker game, and he's the one who Chauncey allegedly called as part of the gambling case. And so you're kind of wondering how he became involved in this. And now, presumably, his attorneys have more of an idea of what the government may think that evidence is.
Okay, so it sounds like the central question here that we are looking to have answered is how did Chauncey Billups become involved? But this sounds incredibly complicated, a terabyte of data that everyone is
and the trial
through.
Not expected to start at September until the earliest.
Okay, so there is a lot to be going through here. Certainly, we will update everyone as this investigation is ongoing, and we will have more tomorrow.